The Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show. They clean up nicely. It's the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show. Yeah, they clean up nicely. Yeah.
Hey, what's up? It's Fusemania here, checking in from Cincinnati, Ohio.
And Drew Pierce here, checking in from the LBC, California. Welcome, Daft Punks. Thanks for joining us back on another episode.
Yeah, it got cold here today, so I'm jealous of your weather out there right now because it's cold.
About the only cold I get is when I wake up in the morning and I go, why is my house an iceberg? And then the rest of the day, it's pretty nice. So I'm sorry.
By the way, for anybody listening, an iceberg to Drew is a brisk 75 degrees.
It's true. But that's fucking cold, man. I'm like, I can't even get out of bed. I need like a giant blanket just to get down the stairs.
You're crazy. I keep my house at like 68 if I can. 68 degrees. I need it like meat locker in there where here's the thing. You can never take more layers off. At a certain point, you've got everything off, right? So if you're cold, you can always put more on.
Well, see, I have to sleep in my skivvies because if I can't put more shit on, I feel like I'm like choking to death. Like the blankets are like tying me down.
All right, whatever you say.
I gotta be in my skivvies.
When you come to my place next, I'll have a nice guest room because I'm moving, and I'll make sure there's like 3 space heaters just pointed at the bed.
There you go. I like it.
Real quick, just want to say thank you to everybody that's been listening. Thank you to everybody that's been calling in on the YOLO line. Thank you for everybody that's been subscribing. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and like the videos and comment. We love seeing comments. If you're watching, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, make sure you're following us. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you're on iTunes, make sure you rate and review the podcast. It really, really, really does help grow the show. We also appreciate all the tags that come in for Instagram and on social media. We love all the comments on the pictures as well. So we appreciate you guys for that. Once again, that YOLO line number is 562-246-YOLO. Feel free to give us a call, leave us a drunk dial. Real quick, before we bring today's guest on, I am going to play these call-ins we got, but I also want to say that you can get 30% off directmusicservice.com of your first month of activation using the promo code Drew and Fuse Show. So if you're not on Direct Music Service yet, you can use that promo code Drew and Fuse Show and get 30% off your first month. So head on over there and do that. Also, if you guys haven't checked out the Briggs Beard Company yet, make sure you check that out. You can use the promo code DAFS, DAFS, and it'll get you 20% off your order. Make sure you hit that promo code in there. Drew's applying that beard oil right now, is making himself look super crispy, making that beard look nice, keeping it smelling good for his lady at home. You know, nobody likes a stinky, smelly beard. So make sure you hit up Briggs Beard Company. No nitroglycerin included. That's right. No nitroglycerin in that beard oil. So you're going to be healthy. You won't combust randomly. So you're good. Also, shout out to our friends over at Club Cannon. If you guys haven't got a Club Cannon yet for your events, what are you waiting for? Club Cannons elevate your event to the next level. They turn that dial to the 11, if you know what we're saying. So, make sure you check out Club Cannon. Real quick, we're going to play these YOLO lines before we bring our guest on for today. So check this out. Here's the latest call-ins on the YOLO line.
Yo, Drew and Fuse. This is your boy, DJ Lowstack. Yeah. Also known as Lorgan when I get a little drunk. I'm standing out here next to a Dolly Parton statue made out of chicken wire, and I just wanted to call and tell Fuse, thanks for the you're my boy. Oh yeah, and thanks for that Daft custom Nashville shirt too. Later, boys.
Oh, hi, I thought this was the Drew and Fuse Yellow line. Oh, yeah. No, sorry, must be the wrong number. Drew Fuse, what's up? It's your boy, Hi Kevin. It's the Friday after the DJ Collective. And, yeah, I'm actually driving to New Jersey to do a Rutgers party right now. But I just want to say it was fucking awesome kicking it with you guys. I'm sure you're going to do a DJ X recap type thing. Yeah, so I just, wanted to provide some input that the parties were fucking great. Nashville was cold as anything. And, yeah, I don't know, man. It's, the Collective is a great fucking spot to meet cool people and shit like that. Great job, boys, all around. Love you guys. Love DMS. I want to buy a Club Cannon, but I don't even have a fucking van. So, yeah, thanks for the entertainment, boys. Appreciate y'all.
What's up, boys? It's Hi Kevin. Dude, I just listened to the Stylist Chris episode, and that's fucking crazy. Just hearing all this tech shit that the fucking leasing is bonkers. I'm definitely going to do that for my next laptop. But the thing that like really hit the biggest with me was talking about, DJs not loving the music and not loving being around the music all the time. Sometimes I feel like it's the people that certain people don't like, certain DJs don't like, but really it's always the music that kind of brings you back in. And I'll be honest, man, as like a newer DJ, I definitely wanted to get good at the craft before anything else. But at the end of the day, man, he definitely made me feel good about what I do because I love going out to every event that I do. Whether it is just a bar or, obviously weddings and it's all there, but appreciate all the shows, boys, and still love the Yellow Line. Bye!
All right.
Pictures are absolutely amazing. If you guys didn't see those, you need to watch the YouTube of that. It's amazing.
Some deep dives on Lorgan, aka Low Stacks, and Hi Kevin there. So just want to say shout out to both of those guys for calling in. It was great hanging with them at DJC. Also, I forgot to mention that, this is episode 2 of being sponsored by Liquid Death. Shout out to all the haters that said we couldn't do it. We have a 3-episode deal. This was episode 2. There you go. Shout out to all them haters. What's it taste like?
Water, I guess what I'm supposed to say. Sparkling water.
Tastes like water. All right. So moving forward, we do have a great guest for you guys today. He's worked in various nightclubs and weddings all across the United States. He's been traveling all over when he isn't DJing and inspiring wedding guests to flock to the dance floor. You can find him producing content for his 70,000 YouTube subscribers. 70,000. That's a lot, guys. And he's got 14,000 followers on Instagram as well. You can also find him speaking at conferences and seminars and teaching DJs how to improve their skills. Please help us welcome DJ Barr.
Woo! Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm super excited to be on.
Yeah,
The
thanks,
Drew
man.
and Few Show. The Drew. That's so catchy, man.
Yeah, it is so catchy. I still like it. DJ Phrase crushed that original song.
It's awesome, bro. I love the jingle. It's like timeless.
Thank you. He nailed it. That was the first take when he did it too. So we sent him an idea of what we wanted, and he was like, "Sure." And then he sent us that, and we were like, "It's perfect. Don't change anything."
I love it, man. It's so
Cool.
catchy. It's like an earworm. Like I hear it. Like sometimes I'll just hit it, like Drew and Few Show.
It sticks in your head. Well, dude, thank you so much for being on. I mean, we just got back from DJ Collective. I guess it's been a week or two now. This was your first time, and I know it was Fuse's as well. We've touched on it on the last episode, but how was your first experience?
Oh, it was awesome, man. It was like no other conference. Just like, how do I put it? There's less people, but it feels like there's more things going on. Like they just spare no expense. Like the breaks that was like my biggest thing. Like the breaks were ridiculous. Like they were each themed out, and they were just next level. Like I didn't expect to leave a conference saying, wow, the breaks were like next level, but you had to be there. I guess it's hard to explain. But yeah, the way the performances that they put on during the breaks were next level.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
that's
It was one of my favorite things. One of my biggest takeaways was just watching those DJs and just realizing how much I could improve in my sets. These guys are just so incredible.
Yeah, man. I love the theme. My favorite one was the last one, the country one. That was insane, man. Team Ragosa, that was wild.
dude, they just knocked that out of the park. I mentioned it on our last episode, but I hate country music, and I think they did
The
that
way
so
he played it, right?
tastefully.
Yeah.
I know it's just so good,
I-
so
I
good.
I always say like don't knock on country music, man. It's just the DJs always say it's like, oh, it's the way you play it, not not necessarily the music. It's just how you play it. But man, the way he played that country set, I was just like, damn.
Yeah, and it was the dancers like coming in at the end. It was like, wow, this is sweet.
Dude, and it
I
was a break. That's what was more mind blowing. That was not even like, that wasn't even the focal point of the show. That was just a little break in between everything else that was going on, which was wild.
Yeah, they outdid themselves this year, especially on those breaks. There's so much we could talk about with the show. It's just we are saying how overwhelming it is, like nonstop. You're just getting hammered over the head with more and more and more and more content. So if you guys haven't been or you didn't hear us talk about it, you should definitely look into it next year. It's an amazing show.
Yeah, and they do have the applications open up. So if you guys wanting to reserve your spot, you can go and do that already. They haven't announced the location yet. So
I think it's January. It opens up beginning of January.
January. Oh, that's right. That's right. Gotcha. My bad. So one of the things we like to do here real quick is just start with some rapid fire questions. We're going to play a little segment video and we're going to get started with some questions. So here we go.
Hey, this is the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Drew and Fuse, let's talk questions. In fact, let's do some rapid fire. Now, I know these rapid fires aren't always so rapid fire, and that is okay by me. I got nothing but time. Now, let's look at the man in the mirror and get started.
There's Michael Jackson live, the king of pop right there, getting us into this segment. So
That's funny. He gave me like super like South Park vibes.
one of the things we like to start off with asking is stuff that you're currently listening to. It doesn't have to be DJ or whatever, just stuff that you're really into right now.
Oh man, for me, Bad Bunny, man. Ever since summer, Bad Bunny has been like top. And I know DJ's joke. I started memeing it myself too. Like, we do like the whole album the other day. Me and my homies, the ones who DJ and work with me, were like, let's just do the whole album today. And so we just started like joking how quick we could get through the whole album. So we were doing like power hour, like 15-minute sets of just pure Bad Bunny.
I do that at the club. I mean, you get hit over the head so much. It's like, okay, here's 3 Bad Bunny songs. Like, go away after a while. But no, he's bigger than life right now for sure.
No, I was just gonna say one of the things that I do like. I feel like a lot of the records that I get put out now are like a little like more listening to records, which it was super refreshing that we kind of got like a party album, where it's like every song on there. It's pretty much danceable. There are some exceptions on there, but I feel like a lot of the music that's been coming out lately, it was in 2012, we were getting like a lot of the pop EDM stuff that just we don't get anymore. I feel like a lot of stuff that we get now is like more mellow. So for me being Latin, even at American weddings, I'll drop Bad Bunny all day. Yeah, it's just because it's the energy, it's just there.
Totally. I like Drew's little 3-song set because then if somebody comes up asking again, you could be like, I played 3 songs in a row. What else do you want? I played 3 in a row. So no, that's cool. I like some of his songs. I've found myself liking some of the more not so popular ones off some of his albums. I tend to listen to like a lot more mellow stuff. So some of those mellow ones I like to listen to in personal time.
Agreed. I'm the same way. Like if I'm DJing, I listen to the more upbeat stuff, but if I'm at home, I'm listening to the more mellow stuff.
For sure. Do you have a favorite remixer or producer? And that doesn't have to be like DJ edits. It can be like just anything.
I'm not sure if you guys are familiar. Again, I come from a lot of like Latin clubs and Latin nightlife and stuff. It's this guy named Lex Edit. He's by far my favorite. He's awesome. If you guys haven't checked him out, I highly recommend that you guys check him out. he sells his own stuff too on his side. He used to be on a ton of record pools, but now he's doing it on his own. But he's next level. He's by far my favorite.
Is he on like his own Patreon or what is that?
Yeah, he's doing it like a Patreon style now, where he just kind of releases it edits. He for a while when I met him, he was on Latin Remix Kings. Then he went on to Pro Latin Remix. Then he went on to BPM Latino. But now he's doing it on his own. But he's so big, he's so massive. He's like the quintessential Latin remixer. But he does a lot of American stuff too. A lot of the edits I play, people are like, "Where'd you get that?" And I'm like, "It's Lex," but he's more in the Latin world that you would know of.
All right, I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah, Lex Edit.
I'm always looking for the good Latin remix or edits or whatever. So
He's any Latin DJ will tell you he is the top.
You're in Jersey, right?
Yes, sir.
So one of the questions we like to ask is, if we were to come visit you, what is a Jersey food spot or something in your area that we could only get there that you would take us to eat?
So the hot spot is right here at the Jersey Shore. It's in the city called Long Branch, New Jersey, and it's called the Butcher's Block. So if you guys come down, I'd love to take you guys there. This is like super Jersey, obnoxious, bougie, really hard to get a reservation. It's Italian, it's steaks, it's a dope spot. If you guys come, the Butcher's Block, you got to get a reservations like 3 months in advance, but
Wow.
it's well worth it. It's super expensive. I took my girl out on a date. Next thing you know, I'm paying $700 for 2 people. It was ridiculously expensive.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow.
All right. So the next question we got is, we want to hear a crazy DJ story, whether it was an awesome night or somebody popped in the booth or something like that, or a night that went wrong and something you learned from it or anything like that. Or if you got multiple, feel free to tell us both.
Oh man, that's such a difficult question, because I feel like, for me personally, I've had like 3 stages of my DJ life. For me, I started like super underground DJing, like hip hop house parties, basement parties, and things like that. Then I went on to doing like Latin nightclubs and things of that nature, and then I went out to doing weddings. So there's just so many stories I could pull from. When you say crazy, the one that comes to mind is the time I accidentally got pepper sprayed. I was DJing a bar and a big brawl broke out. And when I started DJing, I was like still in high school when I was started DJing bars and stuff. But when you get excited, you're like used to that high school thing where you see a fight, you go to it. I went to it, and I didn't know, like I never seen it at grown-ups fighting, I guess, to me. And yeah, fight breaks out, and like it's just crazy. And then security guard just goes and hits like like everybody around us, and I was just like, oh shit. So that's one of the craziest ones I can think of, as far as
Dude. And I've been pepper sprayed, or I've been at a bar when that hits, and you can't breathe at all. You can't move.
Yeah, it's a sensation like in your chest. You're just like, oh, like it stops you. It's like hitting cold water almost.
So did you put on a mix, or it was just like, fuck it, it's a wrap?
This was at the end when we were leaving, when we were leaving. So I was leaving, and I see a fight breaks out, and I, rather than get into my car, I go to the fight to see what's going on. And sure enough, I get pepper. So I learned my lessons. At the end of the night, I'd rather just go home. Go home.
Yeah. Go to your home.
Yeah.
Your home.
That's a lot. Yeah, I wouldn't want to get pepper sprayed at all. I haven't been pepper sprayed, but I've witnessed people, and it doesn't look fun. Doesn't look fun at all.
It's funny, man, because like the way he did it, he just like sprayed everybody who was like bunching around so that he could get through. And then you just see everybody like throwing up. It looks like a bomb went off, dude. You just like see people like spitting, and it was a weird situation.
That is wild for sure. So one of the things we wanted to ask you is, we know you've built up a big following on YouTube, and when did you start doing YouTube videos?
So I started doing YouTube in, I would say 2016. 2015 was kind of when I had the idea. 2015 was when I was going through like a stage where I was like, I think I'm done with DJing. I was DJing a lot, but I was DJing like bars and nightclub, and it was always within my little circle, within my areas, just like the Jersey Shore Latin nightlife area. And I was just like, I don't know. I was just starting to get bummed out. I was just like, damn, when is Vegas gonna get the call? When is when is Ibiza? When is like those calls? But I was just doing bars. I could never shake like how do I get out of my market? It was just it's DJing clubs is like, I guess that's something that you go through. Like, what's next? And I just didn't have the connections. I didn't know how to go about it. So I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna hang it up. I was starting to die down. I went from like 5 nights DJing to like, to 2 or 3. So I was just like not DJing as much as I was DJing at my peak. So I was like, I think I'm gonna stop doing this. I think I'm gonna go do YouTube, because at that time I was really into vlogs. I was really into watching YouTubers film their life. So I was like, I'm gonna start a daily vlog.
Who were some of your favorites at that time?
My favorite by far was Casey Neistat.
Yeah.
And if you look at my work, it's very similar to his. You'll see a lot of inspiration comes to him. Like, if you look at some of his older work and some of my older videos, you'll just say, yeah, this guy's just ripping off Casey Neistat. But the thing is, my life wasn't as interesting. And one of my biggest regrets was I wasn't filming my nightlife, because I was doing a ton of cool nightlife stuff. But to me, it was every weekend. You become so desensitized because you're doing it every week. It's not cool to you anymore. You're just like, it's the norm for you, which I wish I would have started filming those. So I started filming vlogs, a day in the life. And then I was also always doing like little mobile gigs, but those were different to me because I didn't do them as often. So I'm like, oh, I can talk about the gear. Whereas if I go to a club and I film that, it's going to be the same video every week is going to be the same. So I started filming those videos talking about the gear, and it just kind of happened on accident. People were like, hey, can you make another gig log? I'm like, this is a gig log? So I didn't even know there were gig logs until people started calling them gig logs. And then I think 5 gig logs in, I was like, hey, I think I'm doing another gig log. And that's when I went back and noticed that those were getting a lot of traction. I renamed the old ones. And yeah, the rest is history. I kind of doubled down into making gig logs, and then companies naturally started reaching out, just because it was so different. I feel like people were doing DJ content, but it wasn't like day in the life DJ content. It was a lot of like sit down, talk to the camera. Mine was more of like, here's what we're doing. Let me show you how I did it kind of thing. I brought you into like the behind the scenes more or less.
And you were one of the early ones. I mean, I still think you're probably one of the first that was really like dove into it, like you're saying you did. My question would be, I would be so self-conscious that the bride would look at it, right? And did you have to ask them up front, or in these early ones were you just doing it, and then if they saw it, you explained to them later, or how did that happen?
That's a great question. Believe it or not, because I wasn't. To me, mobile DJing was like a joke. Again, I came from the club background, so I was always like, those guys are corny, those guys are whack. So when I was getting called up to do these like little parties or a wedding here and there was no contractual agreement. I wasn't doing it at like the scale people think I was. I was a noob. I was legit a noob. I was just like, it was a phone deal. I was like, hey, you'll be there in 2 weeks? Yeah, I'll be there 2 weeks. $800. It was just little as that. And I was just filming them. So I didn't feel like I needed to put on a filter until people started telling me like, dude, why are you saying like people didn't dance? Why are you saying like you were getting too many requests? Why are you like, I didn't know I was doing bad until people started telling me. But again, it's just, I was a club DJ. To me, that was just a little thing I was doing on the side. I didn't really care. I did have to filter myself down. When my early videos, I used to rate the parties. I used to say, this one's 3, or this one was a 3, this one was a 4. I used to call them cartoon DJ bars out of 5. But I just stopped doing it just because it did start to get to a bigger level where clients were finding me. And then I was like, okay, there's something here. Once I hit around 20,000 followers, and I was like, okay, I got to kind of watch what I say. I was put on a bit more scrutiny. Like I noticed like people would talk about me on like forums and stuff, which I didn't know that all existed. To me, I was just making YouTube videos, but I was unaware that there was like this whole DJ community, mobile DJ community on the internet that, more or less came after me when I first started.
Well, yeah, it is a big community. I don't think people realize. And I think that's the very fine line is people probably really want to hear if it's a good party or a bad party. That's what the DJs want, but then you're walking that very fine line of, not pissing off the client.
Exactly. So, I didn't care. Like, I would say, man, this party really sucked. I remember at one time I did a party. I was like, I just showed up to get a paycheck. Nobody danced. This was like 10 or 20 people here. And people were like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what are you doing? Why are you saying this stuff? Like, you saying you just went to go collect a paycheck? And it was true, man. But I had no filter because I didn't care. To me, I was trying to build a YouTube audience, and I was gonna quit DJing because I was gonna become a popular YouTube vlogger, which kind of worked in reverse. The more I started making DJ videos, the more work I started getting. So it pulled me back more into DJing, if you will. It just in another world. It was now in the mobile world.
Did you ever actually have a client come to you that was like, I mean, I'm guessing you found a lot of work, like you're saying, you found a lot of work from putting all your stuff out there, and the client started reaching out to you. But did you ever have a blowback in some of those early years from talking about them?
No, because looking back, I'm also not a mean guy by any means. So I never said anything mean about the clients themselves. I never said anything that was messed up per se. Everything that I described was from the DJ perspective, like, wow, these people wouldn't dance to anything, or like, wow, like, they weren't feeling this. It was never like, this client sucks, they were annoying. So I never really got any blowback because it was never a direct attack on the clients. It was never an attack at all. And that's just not who I am. I'm not a mean person per se.
No, it makes sense. Yeah. What do they say? All content is good content, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, I stumbled upon it by accident, but looking back, it's like a little bit cringy. I'm like, oh, I can't believe I said that now. But it's it is what it is. It was a product of its time.
I'm a big Casey Neistat fan as well, and so I think what he always says is it's like the time capsule, right? So even if it's cringy, it's still something you go back and look on, and just being able to see that as you grow and change. So it is cool. It's cool that what you did.
When you started, were you putting out videos? Were you hoping to monetize on YouTube? And I'm assuming the answer is yes, but how did you? I guess my question is that what was the strategy to growing the page? Were you just put out as many videos as possible, or what was the thought process?
Yeah, believe it or not, man, there was no like ulterior motive that I had. I just wanted to make something that was fun to watch. I wanted to be Casey Neistat, and the things that appealed to me when I was making those videos is I want to be traveling and I want to be filming videos. I want to make something that's fun to watch. Obviously when you make content, you put a lot of time and effort into it and you want people to see it, but it was never my driving. It was never like what I was set out to do. I wanted an audience, obviously. One of the things I hate is when people say, oh, I want to blow up. I want to do this. I want to do that. For me, I just wanted to make something that was fun to watch. That came second. Obviously you are chasing a little bit of the views. I was chasing the stats. I was seeing what works and what doesn't, but that's just with any social media platform. To me, one of the things that I think I did that worked was I was consistent. I had great titles and I was great thumbnails. When I first started, every Wednesday you can expect a video from DJ Barr. It doesn't matter, come hell or high water, there was going to be a video there every Wednesday. My audience knew to tune in, so I conditioned them to tune in every Wednesday. Additionally, I did a couple of stints where I would just post daily, like in YouTube. There's a thing called Vlogmas where people post videos every single Christmas. I did 3 Vlogmases and those helped my numbers tremendously. The money thing, as far as monetizing, that all came, due to hard work. It was never something I was chasing because I never expected to make YouTube a career. It was just something that was fun for me to do. It was just like something I enjoyed doing. I wanted to make something that was cool to watch. And if you look at my earlier work, you can see that, there was a lot of emphasis put into the shots, into the filming, into the editing. Now, it kind of sucks to say this, but now I kind of know how things work. So I know what people click, what they want to watch. So now it's just like a little bit more of a formula that I put together in my head. But before it was just trial and error, more or less, seeing what works and what doesn't. But consistency and, having strong titles and strong thumbnails, I think works great on YouTube.
Would you say now that you are a YouTuber with a DJ on the side, or are you a DJ first and a YouTuber on the side?
That is such a great question. For the longest, I consider myself a YouTuber because I was so involved into it. But now I'm like DJing so much, it's taking me away from YouTube. So I feel like it changes. If you were to ask me right now, I'm a DJ and then a YouTuber just because I haven't uploaded in 6 months. It's been a while since I've uploaded. And it's because I've been working so much, but it's because of YouTube. So it's a weird one, but if it were up to me, I'd rather be a YouTuber. I wish I could put more time into just making videos. That's what I enjoy. It's I don't feel the pressure with DJing. I don't know. I feel like I'm always stressed out. I feel like I'm always I don't know. I feel like I'm always moving. I feel like I'm always doing something when it comes to DJing. So sometimes it's just nice to just shut off my brain and just do something that's not DJ related, which I think it's why YouTube's taking a hit. Cause I'm when I'm not DJing, I don't want to be filming about DJing, I guess more or less. Cause
Yeah.
I'm DJing so much. I'm doing 120 events this year. So it's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. Have you thought about like hiring someone to help you in terms of like, I know it's very personal what you do and
Yeah.
your edits are you and it's all of that, but have you
Yeah.
thought about that?
Again, I'm such a Casey fanboy that he's like, the story is in the edit and nobody can tell the story the way I can. So to me, that stuck with me because I was such a huge Casey Neistat fanboy. And yeah, he's absolutely right. The story is in the edit. Sometimes I don't even have a video until I put it together in post-production, until I'm sitting there, I can like, okay, let me move this here, tell a story, to tell a 3-act narrative, and figure it out. It's a bit of a puzzle, and I feel like that's hard for me to delegate to somebody new. But if you look at my DJ business, I'm the same way. I want to do it all myself. I have a very hard time of
I understand that.
allocating work. To me, I just want to do it all. I want to do it. Everything is me. Like, when it comes to DJing, I'm the marketing, I'm the sales, I'm the performer, everything. When it comes to the YouTube, I'm the filmer, I'm the editor, I'm the actual the talent behind it. It's a lot. So I have a hard time delegating work, but I think that's something within me personally. I don't think it's.
Are you ever building is Barr going to become the brand Barr going to become a multi-op, or is it like pretty much always going to just stay you?
I feel I'm for the most part, I always say to myself, it's mostly just going to be me. But I'm also a realist. I come from the nightlife world, so I'm also fully aware when like you become a corny DJ, and I just don't want to be that guy. Out of courtesy to my guests, there's at some point where I need to say, okay, I can't do this anymore. Out of courtesy to my clients, I don't want to be DJing a 25-year-old's wedding when I'm like, 80 or something like that. So I realize there is a ticking time clock which is different for everybody, because some people they can be attuned to what's going on. They can keep their ear to the music, to the streets, to what's going on, but it happens differently for everybody. And I just, I don't know how long I'll have, but I definitely don't want to DJ forever. So I'm always looking for different avenues. To me, it's like, I'm in a jungle and I'm always searching for that next branch. What's next? What's next? What's next? What's next?
I think that's a really cool thing to say, because I think that's a good way of looking at things. Like everybody's shelf life is a little bit different, and
yeah. So people say it's like a number, but it's not a number, because I know some guys that are like 60 years old and they're still cool, they're still hip. But I know some guys that are 60 years old and they're like grandpa. They're like, yeah, it's so different. It's different for everybody, and I don't know what 60-year-old Barr is going to be. And courtesy to my guests, if I start complaining about the music that they want to hear at weddings, that's when I know it's time for me to go.
Back in my days, they used to like the Bad Bunny, and nowadays,
exactly.
So with your videos and stuff, what are you using to edit? Are you on Final Cut? Are you on Premiere? What do you like?
Yeah, I'm on Final Cut. I've been on Final Cut since the start. It's my preferred method. I know it. I'm a Apple guy all around. I have, I'm in the whole Apple ecosystem. I'm an Apple fanboy, so everything Apple all day, every day.
I think the reason I flock to Final Cut, which I still haven't dove into, I'm doing my edits in Ableton. What I like about Final Cut is you just pay once, right? Versus Premiere, you have to pay that recurring price, and I can't do the subscription fee. It's like one and done.
Yeah, $300 and it's yours for life. I love it. And you get all the updates too. They grandfather you into all the new stuff. So it's awesome.
That is awesome. Well, one of the things that we want to talk to you about is some new tech, and I have a bunch of YouTube-based new tech questions that I want to ask you. Yeah. But first, I'm going to play this segment video, and we'll talk about some new tech.
Hey, C3PO here. Drew and Fuse, I hear you love technology. What are some new gadgets you guys love? Oh no, R2, stop being so foolish. Let's hear about your new tech. Time to go. Master Luke needs me.
All right, there's C3PO. He's wanting to know some new tech that you're into. So is there anything at all that's making your life easier new technology wise.
Just little battery packs, constantly recording content. Obviously, I make YouTube videos, but I talked about one where I do the GoPro on top of a battery pack, but I've taken it a step further. Now I want 4K because a lot of things are vertical now. So now I'm shooting 4K and then scaling down so I can get that that TikTok framing, the vertical framing for Instagram stories, TikTok, whatever it may be. So now I created a monster. So this is my Sony. This is what I now film with my gig lugs. You guys can see it's got all kinds of powder. That's the sparkler dust. So essentially, I took in a small rig. This is what videographers use to add a bunch of stuff, microphones and things of that nature. So essentially, you get a bunch of screw holes so you can put a bunch of stuff.
What camera is that, and what's the?
This is the Sony A6400. On top of it, there's a small rig. That's this cage that you see on here. Makes it a little bit more durable. Lets it take a bang in. I love not babying my gear, so I love this little guy. Bunch of screws on there so you can mount it. You can also mount it sideways because you do have screws on the side. You have screws on the bottom, so you can really mount it any way you want. And then I've added a small rig clamp, if you will. So what I've taken is I take one of these, put one of these on top. Then I take a power cable, go from the USB out into the USB power. So essentially you have like endless power. If you get a big enough one of these, you can film forever and ever and ever and ever. These don't really have a record limit. However, they do tend to overheat when filming for a long time. I could typically get this to record nonstop for about 2 hours, which is a pretty long time. So usually when I start my set, I'll set one of these up across the DJ booth. That way I can get the lights, I can get me. And then behind me, I'll have the GoPro setup, which is essentially one of this, but a little bit weaker quality. This one shoots in 4K. It's big files, but well worth it. This is by far one of the best things that I've put together. So I love this thing.
What is the battery pack first? And then the second question is going to be, what is your camera system for when you're doing these gig logs? You have just the 2 cameras, 3 cameras?
Great question. So I use a 3-camera system. Behind the DJ booth, I put a GoPro. That one is my forever one. It's also what I use for quality control. That one films every video. Not every gig I'll put one of these 4K ones, only the badass ones, So that usually starts with the GoPro behind me. That one's a staple at every gig. That one I think every DJ should be doing.
Are you recording it in sideways or landscape? Or
I'm just doing regular landscape mode. And then if I do want to chop, I'll just kind of zoom in a little bit to make it into a story. But the beauty with GoPro is that you can shoot ultra wide. I shoot at its widest, which I think it's called super view on GoPro. And then if I want to do chop in, I will chop in. You do some quality, but it is what it is. I shoot at 1080 on the GoPro. My next camera is usually across the dance floor, shooting behind. This is ideal if you have like an ideal setup where you have the tables on the sides of the dance floor and then you have the sweetheart table across and the DJ booth on the other side. So works great if you have it that way. Usually after toasts and speeches, when I open up the dance floor, I'll sneak in the 4K Sony A6400 with the battery pack, shooting back at the dance floor at the DJ booth, and that one will usually just run through it. I shoot that one in 4K so I can chop in, or if I have a weak dance floor, I can also crop into where it's at most busy. That's the second one. And then on the side, typically right by a speaker, I put a control cam, which is just like right next to the DJ booth, right next to me. That one is a Canon G7X. That's my little baby one. That's my point and shoot, my run and gun camera. That's the one that I also vlog with, the one I talk to. That one I put right next to me. I put it right by a speaker just so I can get some clean audio. And then I remember to press start every 20 minutes because it does have a 20-minute record limit. But that one's just more or less a control. That's where I get like first dances. That's where if I need to say something, hey guys, we're about to do this, we're about to do that. That's kind of like my talking to camera. And then I have my 2 hard cams on either side of the dance floor. That's typically my typical rig.
I'm sorry. Did I miss what battery packs you're using?
Oh, yes. So I am using the Anchor battery packs. I love these. I don't know the name of it. I believe this is like 10,000 milliamp. I don't know the text, but it's look up 10,000 Anchor battery pack. And this one will pop up. You can go bigger, but the reason I have these is because I want to charge them quickly. So I have 4 of these Anchor battery packs. If you want, I'll shoot you guys a link that you guys can share with your audience. But yeah, these are the ones.
Oh, we're huge Anchor fans. We always preach them. Hopefully, that's one of the sponsors we got coming up here soon. We'll see. But
Anchor is awesome.
On your Sony, the A6400, are you just using the standard lens that comes with it, or are you using a different lens?
Oh man, you know your stuff. That is a great question. If you give me a minute, I'll give you the exact lens I use. All right, awesome. So the lens that I use is by Sony. Obviously, it's a Sony lens, and it is the Sony 10 to 18 lens. The reason why I love this is because it goes all the way down to 10, which is like ultra wide, without giving you the fisheye look. Which I'm personally not a big fan of when things look fisheye, but 10, it'll go up to 10, so it's super wide, so you can put it across the dance floor. You can cut into 18 if you don't have such a wide dance floor, or go all the way to 10 if you do want that wide dance floor. And the beauty is that the A64 allows you to shoot in 4K, so you can always chop in. So a lot of things, what I do, a lot of it is perspective. If I have like empty spots on the dance floor, I'll just crop into where there's like a lot of people, so that way the dance floor looks packed. So the 10 to 18, and then I also use a kit lens. The kit lens is great if you have like weird situations where you can't put the camera right by the dance floor. Sometimes you do got to shoot a little bit further. The kit lens that comes with this camera is 16 to 50. 50, gives you a ton of range to shoot forward. So the 50, if I need to zoom in, I'll just go in all the way to 50 if I got to put the camera somewhere far away where it's not ideal. But it is one that I bring to every gig. I bring two of these to every gig. And then the other one that I use is my YouTube one, which is the one that you're coming through right now. That one is a Sigma 16 mil 1.4. So it's like, you can get super blurry in the back, which I don't have it set up right now, but that one is great for sitting down, talking to the camera like I'm doing right now. You can see it's pretty crispy.
Yeah, it looks great. I'm on a A6300 right now with a 1650 lens. So for you guys watching, you can kind of see the zoom capability.
Oh, wow.
there.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to see that 1650 lens, that's
Yeah.
it right there.
Yeah, this is a prime lens, so you can't really do anything with it. If I touch it, it'll just put me out of focus. But yeah, this is a great lens. I love it. This is the Sigma 16, and that's great if you want to film content. If you want to make videos.
You're talking about filming the dance floor, and it might go empty, it might be packed. What I do like is you show your dance floor and you chop it real quick to where you can hear what songs you play. How are you getting around that on the YouTube strikes?
So I come from a club background, so you'll notice I help out the crowd a lot, like where all the ladies at, like things like that. So I noticed like you can still hear the song in the background. So I started doing, if it's a really hype wedding where I'm like, I know this is gonna go on YouTube, I'll like hype up a little bit more, so that way I can talk over a little bit of the music where you can still hear it, and then I'll play it. YouTube is very unforgiving now. When I started YouTube, you could get away with 15 seconds. Now that's more to 3 or 5 seconds. So I'm only allowing that to play. You can show the mix, but again, I don't recommend it, because sometimes what I notice is when I show the mix, it'll be good for like the first couple of days, and then like 2 weeks later, it's like bam, copyright. I actually got hit with a copyright strike, which is not a flag, it's a straight up strike. So that's why I'm a little bit more careful with how I do and what I actually post when it comes to music. So now I'm just sticking to 3 to 5 seconds max. Yeah, sometimes I'll talk over a little bit. That way it kind of hides.
That makes sense. And that's a good little tip too. Even if you kind of had a video clip you wanted to show, and you were showing the dance floor, and you were kind of just narrating the clip or something like that, that's a good tip to not get flagged.
Yeah, exactly. And I see a lot of guys on YouTube say, hey, I guess this is the more followers you get, the more flagged, like the more, because now I get flagged all the time. So once you start generating some income, those companies, they want their cut. So if you're just starting out, I would say show the mixes. But for me, like I can't even show the mixes anymore. Like I'll get flagged, like not right away, but I'll get flagged within a week or so. They'll find it.
Yeah, I mean, and then it hurts you. I mean, it cuts that whatever money you might make from it. I mean, it's just not worth it at that point. So it makes complete sense to keep that.
Yeah. And I feel like it makes it a stronger video, because now you're picking your clips a little bit better. You're also like, you're not putting like more than you need, I guess. Less is more or less, I guess.
Those are good points, good tips.
Another question I'd have is, I see some people go a little too long on the on their videos, and sometimes I'm like, oh, you're killing me on this. It should have just been like a lot shorter of a video. What's a good length? What's something maybe YouTube looks for that's it's kind of a lengthwise, or do you focus on that, or do you it's just
Uh,
it is what it is and you put it out?
I don't focus on the length. I do focus on like the story that we're telling. It's like you got to get your point across. So that's why, YouTube is YouTube is like the big leagues when it comes to content creation, So like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, all those are like snippets. But YouTube is not only does your quality has to be good, you actually have to tell a compelling story, and you also have to keep the audience with you at a very high level. So YouTube is like, everything that you learn from doing TikTok, Instagram, but on a much bigger scale because the quality is so high. Not only do you have to be able to produce good content, have it be good quality, but you also have to be good on camera. So there's like a lot of factors that work into it. As far as the length, make it as long as you think it should be, and then chop it up again one more time, maybe even twice. So just go back, watch your videos, and then just keep chopping up, and then just say, is this statement going anywhere? Does it actually add to the narrative? Does it actually add to what I'm trying to say, or do I just want to show this? There's a phrase that YouTube that editors that they use. Essentially, it's like movie editors. They're like, kill your darlings. And what killing your darlings means, like, you have like a super great shot. Like, when drones came out, people are like, oh, I got to get drones included in it. But maybe it's like, what does a drone have to do with your story? So like, what does it have to do? So you're going to kill this $1 million shot that you have, but it has nothing to do with the story. So essentially they say, learn to kill your darlings. Don't fall in love with shots, just kill it.
I listen to a lot of music podcasts, and one of the things that a lot of artists I hear say is it an ugly baby? Meaning, is your baby just so ugly that you're just like, no, but it's my baby. Like, no, don't take away my ugly baby. And then
Yeah.
everyone else is like, bro, your baby's so fucking ugly. Like, throw the thing, get rid of that baby. So, yeah, it's same exact thing. Just don't be too attached to it, even if it's an
Yeah.
ugly baby.
And when I first started, I used to film these beautiful time lapses, and I was just like, man, I'm losing people in like the first 15 seconds. Because before, all my videos used to start off with a time lapse, and it's something that I took off from Casey. And I got really good at filming these time lapses, but then I noticed like people would jump like 30 seconds ahead. They would never watch, the time lapse. And I'm like, damn, I spent an hour filming this time lapse and nobody cared about it. So yeah, as much as you might love a shot, the audience doesn't care. So you just got to keep it moving. One of the things that I also think helped out my channel a lot, when I was coming up, also, it was a time where Logan Paul was coming up a lot. And he took it to like the next level with chopping. Like he was just like bam, 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 bam. Everything was coming at you like a million miles. It was so fast. Everything was so fast. So yeah, if you could just keep it moving, people are gonna say, oh, it's annoying or rubbing it, but they're gonna watch the whole thing. They're just gonna be like, holy shit, I just watched a whole 20-minute video just because the pace is incredible. It's just moving so fast, going a million miles per hour.
I've watched a couple of editor videos on that very aspect of it. Like they reviewed Casey's running video where he's, he gets that money from Nike for the wristband, and then he was running across the thing, and just like the cuts are so, every cut matters. Every single cut's like so perfect. And so, yeah, the edit is just gold for sure.
Yeah.
One of the things we wanted to ask you about is a little bit of, how you essentially market your videos and stuff. So we're going to play another video clip here, and we're going to ask some questions on social media and marketing. So here we go.
1, 2, 3, oh! Drew and Fuse, all shook up, you hound dogs. Don't be cruel. It is now or never. Let's talk social media.
All right. That's Elvis introducing us into this social media here. So one of the questions I have is, with the ever so changing Instagram algorithms and stuff, how do you evolve, promoting what you're doing? You're a YouTuber and getting people from one platform to the other, or vice versa. What do you have any strategies or tips you could share with us?
Yeah. So I mean, one of the strategies that I've done that works to me is I usually give them a reason. Give them a don't just say follow me here. Give them a reason. So for me on YouTube, what I do is like, hey, if you want to see behind the scenes, like if I make a gig log, you can also see the behind the scenes, like the day of that I'm doing the wedding, because I'm heavy on my stories. So I don't just say go follow me on Instagram. I'm like, hey, if you want to see more about this wedding or this gig that we just did, check out my Instagram. I give them a reason to go there. Um, for example, if you like this video, if I also made a gig log on TikTok, go check that out. So give them a reason. Don't just tell them, always provide a reason why they should be going over there. Transitioning your audience is something that's very difficult to do, and I feel like it's easier transitioning from YouTube than it is to transition to from TikTok to YouTube. It's a little bit more difficult in that sense, just because Instagram is like an app where it's like super easy to consume, but YouTube is like you're probably on a desktop, or it's probably on your phone, but it's like it's easier to get out of, I guess, if you will. Instagram keeps you hooked. So like, you can just move on. On YouTube, it's like a little bit slower. So it gives people the time to think, okay, let me go to Instagram and go. But once they're on Instagram or once they get to TikTok, they might start looking at videos and might just forget what they're doing. So I feel like it's easier transitioning from YouTube to other audiences than it is to transition Instagram to like YouTube or
What about YouTube Shorts? Are you going to start paying attention to that at all? Because I know that's becoming quite a thing.
Yeah, you know what? I always say, you got to play the game. You got to show up to work. I haven't been showing up to work lately. But yeah, you should, anytime a platform introduces a new feature, I would just say, hop on it ASAP. Hop on it ASAP. Anytime, because they're trying to push out people. They're trying to get people to use that. So they're pushing out anything and everything. So if you ever want to get big, like if you see a new platform, coming up, you're just like, you might just want to go on there and start throwing some stuff on there just because, they're looking for something that's going to pop off, that's going to get people there, it's going to get people talking. So it's a little bit easier. For example, now growing on YouTube seems impossible. I don't know what I would do if I was starting out on YouTube. It's so difficult, once those platforms are established and they got their big heavy hitters, they're like trying to focus more on keeping the audience there rather than getting the audience there, more or less, So anytime something new comes out, get on it ASAP. Get on it and use it ASAP. Be the master of it because they want to push that stuff out.
We notice it. I mean, we notice it with with the show. I mean, it's really hard to get people to subscribe. We've been doing the show now for over a year, and we have like 270 something subscribers as of today. It's just so hard to get people, and it's a little different what we're doing too. We're posting full length, podcasts and stuff like that. But
yeah, man, YouTube is unforgiving. It's but you're also got to think like now when you're on YouTube, you're competing with the biggest podcast in the world,
Totally.
Before it used to be like people in their bedrooms. Now you have like full blown studios. You have like companies actually producing podcasts, like big money behind these people that are posting this stuff on YouTube. So it's so difficult to compete, it's so difficult.
Our numbers have been great on audio. It's just, transitioning over to YouTube, which it's fine. People are listening. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter how you consume. It's as long as you consume. I was going to joke. So when Elon drops Vine back again to compete with TikTok, then we all should jump on Vine, right?
Yeah, jump on it, post a couple videos on there and just see what happens. That's honestly the next thing that I'm waiting for. I'm like, all right, I missed the TikTok wave. My sister told me, I heard about TikTok a long time ago, back when it was Musical.ly, and I was just like, nah, it's just another thing. It's just another thing.
Right.
I missed the boat, man. Now I'm like, those people are laughing at me. They were, I was just like, it's not gonna happen. It's not. But now, now I'm like, now I know what's gonna happen. So now, next platform that I see on the come up, I'm hopping on that day one. I'm hopping on that. I'm posting my stuff over there.
Vine's gonna be the move.
I hope Vine doesn't come back and like it shows our old videos from on there. It's gonna be like me, like, like like, welcome to Chili's. Welcome to Chili's, guys.
You really used to make Vines?
I mean, I feel like Vine was so popular, everybody was making Vines, whether they were good or bad or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like,
I never made a Vine, but I always went on there every once in a while and just kind of consume. Kind of how I use my TikTok. I go in there once in a while and consume.
Yeah. Are you on the Be Real app, the one that like notifies you, and as soon as you notifies you, like you're supposed to post a picture? Like I feel like it never hits me when I'm doing anything cool.
Yeah, I signed up for it and I never used it, but I guess do as I say, not as I do. You know.
Yeah, totally. I get it. We got great advice. It's sometimes following our own advice is very
Yeah.
hard. I get it completely.
Well, Apple just put out their best of the year apps, and Be Real was the #1 app.
Get out of here! Really?
Yeah. Be Real
Okay.
is the #1 app for Apple, and I mean, I see that notification come up, and I'm like, I'm in bed. What are you guys doing? You know, or it's just always something stupid, like Fuse said. Or 95% of the time, I'm in front of my laptop doing work. You know.
I got I guess that's for 2023. That's a New Year's Eve resolution. I guess. Be real.
Be real. Well, did you see TikTok's got it now, and they're calling it Now. So TikTok's got its own version of Be Real.
I did not see it. But I gotta get on that. Yeah. So it seems like it seems like that's what they want us to use. So yes,
It's
master.
wild. I wonder like what the next thing will be, because I feel like TikTok is so heavy visual that even Instagram had to change what they were doing to, and now it's like, I wonder what that next thing.
Yeah, I feel like there's cycles though, because I remember when I started YouTube, they were like, try to make your videos super short, and then it went to like, try to make your videos into a movie, and now we're back to like make them short, So I feel like everything's like a cycle. So I feel like once people get bored of like, it's super quick to consume, then it's gonna go back to, all right, give me something long to watch. It's a cycle.
Do you think we'll ever go back to the days of, where it'll be like more of a, I feel like Facebook was cool, right? And everybody knows it was cool, and why it was cool, because everybody that used it was like your actual friend. And then it became not cool once they started like opening it up more, and your mom's on there and your aunt's on there. And then now you're getting friend requests from people that you don't actually even know. Do you ever think that something will come back and it'll be more that exclusiveness to it?
Very, very unlikely. I think about it like as in, doing clubs. Like, the kids that I went to club with, they don't want to club with their parents. So, they don't want to go to the same spot that their parents were partying at. It's just kind of gross and kind of not cool, more or less. So, I don't think so, man. I think, for clubs, they have like the lifespan is so little, like for example, a good club might last 5-10 years, and that's considered like, wow. But I've worked at clubs where they last like, one season, like they'll last through a summer season, and come winter, they can't get anybody in there. It's just, so I think about that in like social media, where it's just like the kids are like, no, it's not. Like for example, my sister, she's 18, and she's never had a Facebook. She doesn't use Facebook, and it's just like, to them that's normal,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I assume that's gonna happen to TikTok too. Like for example, my mom makes TikToks, and my mom is in her 50s. So
Yeah.
It's just, eventually it's gonna reach a point where it's just that there's so many people on it that the kids go, this is no longer cool. Like we want to go to an exclusive hotspot that's so hard to get into.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And that's kind of what I mean is like, I wonder if somebody will come up with something new and exclusive. That's like, how everything's like, what's old is new again. And, in another 10 years, we'll see like this new exclusive thing. And it's just like how Facebook was originally, or something like that.
Yeah. Have you heard it say like everything is a remix of something, which is essentially it is, I'm sure a remix of Facebook will come up, but it won't necessarily be Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
or a remix of Instagram will come, but it won't necessarily be Instagram. But it takes the idea, it takes what they've done in the past and implements it in a different way. So I'm sure that will happen. But as far as it being the platform itself, I find that very difficult, very unlikely. Just like as I said, the kids don't want to be where their parents are,
Completely. I don't even want to be on Facebook anymore.
Yeah.
I loathe Facebook. Like it's the only reason I get on there is to post something that I feel like I need to post. Other than that, I don't look at it at all.
I go on it just to check people's birthdays. Oh shit, I forgot that person's birthday.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Same. I go on there every once in a while, but and I don't stay for long.
One of the things, if you're cool with it, we're gonna talk some music here. I got a segment video for us that I'm gonna play, and we have some music questions for you, if that's cool.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna roll this video, and then we'll talk some music.
Hey, Drew and Fuse, Kermit the Frog here. When I'm not dealing with my pain-in-the-ass wife, Miss Piggy, I like to talk and sing with my friends. What's your top songs? A new personal favorite of mine is this. It's the Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. And they clean up nicely. Because usually they look like shit. Yay!
So one of the things we like to do is talk a little music with guys, and one of the things you already mentioned was that your favorite producer was Lex Edit. Maybe we can talk some big Latin songs that you're playing, or something. We like to just know some big songs or stuff that is working currently for you.
Oh, Latin songs. It's so funny because the majority of the things that I do are just traditional white weddings. So Latin songs. I mean, aside from what I listen to, obviously it's like a lot of Bad Bunny. There's a lot of reggaeton artists that are on the come up too.
Well, it's crazy to me because I didn't realize Jersey had a big Latin community or like a big Latin scene at all. But I know you've mentioned you do like freestyle, and that's still kind of a Latin thing, I think.
Yeah, so the thing with Latin is like Latin / urban. So for example, when I was doing clubs, when it was a Latin club, it was like EDM, which was like, mainstream EDM, which was like Swedish house, Afrojack, like things like that, and a less so mainstream guys. So when it's like Latin, like for example, a traditional Latin night at a Latin club would be like a lot of reggaeton, hip hop, and EDM. That's more or less what they mean by Latin night, and it's just like it's marketed to the Latin community, but it's a lot of hip hop, it's a lot of Latin. They'll might very rarely do at a Latin club unless it's like legit like Latin. Will they do like salsa sets? It's just more or
Right.
less they stick to just like reggaeton, more or less. It's reggaeton, EDM, house.
Well, there are like a few songs that would be like staples that you would mention that you would play.
At a Latin club or a Latin party, like
Sure.
whatever.
If we had a beginner DJ right now and he was playing a Latin club or something, just maybe like 5 songs or a few songs that would be like staples in a sense.
Después de la Playa is probably the biggest. That's a merengue song. So merengue was kind of like not getting any new stuff for a little bit. So that's popular right now. Después de la Playa is the Bad Bunny song, and you can go into like all kinds of sorts of directions with that. So one of the reasons why I love playing Después de la Playa Bad Bunny is because it's technically mambo, but I call it merengue, which is like an umbrella term. You could go to like old school merengue or new school merengue. So it just puts you at a really good spot. It puts you at 80, but it's like 80 fast. So really for you guys, it might be like 160. So it's like dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
It's super fast. That puts you in a good spot. A lot
It's
of
like
the
Lechona, right? That
La Chona's like at 70. That's Mexican though. So, one of the things
Yeah.
with when you're playing Latin is you got to be very careful. Like if somebody says, play some Spanish music and it's a Puerto Rican, you play La Chona, they're going to get offended. They're going to be like, yo, what's going on? Like, so you just got to be careful with that. Like,
Well, I know some of them cross over though. I do understand what you mean because I'm in California, and so I have to understand where it is. But I think some of them have become viral. Like a Lechona is just kind of
it's like a TikTok one. Yeah.
it goes to anything. But I understand what you mean.
Yeah. La Chona is regional Mexican music. But it's super popular.
Because I just think of the memes. Yeah, the memes were kind of made it bigger than it was. But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you do have to go back to whatever it is. So
And
I
then,
understand.
Yeah, and then another Bad Bunny song again. The reason why Bad Bunny is like popping off too is because he's experimented with different genres. So dembow is another big genre. It's like a faster reggaeton. It's over there, like crosses the 110s. Usually goes to about 120, sometimes even 130. So it's around that range. So it's a little bit faster. This gives you segues to play a lot of El Alfa. El Alfa is like a huge right now too in the Latin market. He's like the go-to guy when it comes to dembow. And this also allows you to play with some older tracks. You could play like some throwback hip hop tracks, like hip hop, like Poison, things of that nature. You can do like some of the older Timberland songs. Off the top of my head, I can't think of it, but some of that stuff that's at like 115, some of that like early 2000s, like that
Like The Way I Are.
The Way I Are,
Miss-
exactly. Like you could
Yeah,
do a
yeah.
bunch of stuff, so it puts you in a good spot there.
1-2 step.
Exactly, 1-2 step. So it puts you at those numbers, which for the longest I struggled with getting playing music at that BPM 110. Also, your Uptown Funks and stuff are up there as well. So some of the traditional wedding stuff that you hear is like there. So it puts you in a really good sweet spot where you can go anywhere. And then just 100. 100 is for me my favorite. I love to speed mix 100. I could go old school, new school, reggaeton. I also love playing dance hall, reggae, Afro beats is getting really popular here. Putting at 100, 105. I usually like bumping them to 105. Just give you a little bit more energy. You can also do hip hop, throwback hip hops.
What are some of your favorite Afro beats right now?
Oh man, I love Burna Boy. Afro beats, Burna Boy is probably the go-to for that. I also love dance hall. Charlie Black. I love Charlie Black.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Some of that stuff. I love playing some of the throwbacks like Murder She Wrote, stuff like that. This is staples. I don't know if you hear them at a lot of like LA clubs, but here in New Jersey, you hear like a dance hall set at pretty much every club that you go to.
Yeah, every weekend I still play dance hall.
Yeah, we did. I usually hop on the mic and say we're gonna do it for all my Caribbeans out there. We've dropped some like stuff of that nature. I love playing that. It's just got so much energy and 105. I love being at 105 because I could go anywhere with that.
Well, one of the other things we wanted to ask you is some travel tips. And of course, we got a little segment video for that. So I'm going to play this travel tips segment and then we'll get started with some travel tips.
Great Scott! Hey there, Drew and Fuse! It's me, Doc Brown! Quick, jump in the DeLorean! We need to get this episode up to 88 miles per hour! Now, hit the flux capacitor, and let's travel to the future!
Bar's like, what is happening right now?
Dude, I love them. They're awesome. Super creative. I love it.
And super terrible at the same time. So it's
actually really good. Like the voices, like they sync up pretty well. Like the Kermit the Frog one, I was really impressed. Like it actually looked like it was like it's really nicely done.
Fuse chopped that all himself. Yeah, he actually did that all with the audio. So he killed it. It was good.
Yeah, it's really nicely done.
So we know you do some traveling, and we like to talk whenever we have guests on that do some traveling. We like to talk some travel tips, and we have a lot of listeners that want to travel more, and just in general, are there any tips or advice you could give? Obviously, one of Drew and I's advice is just bite the bullet and get the TSA pre-check. We can't preach that enough. It's worth it if you travel. It's good for 5 years. Is there anything that you would recommend?
You can also buy like VIP access sometimes. Like United will have them, so like it's almost like TSA pre, but they'll like move you to the faster. So like instead of paying for a first class ticket, they'll put you on the first class line. So there's a couple of things you could do. It's usually like a $20 upgrade. So like if you're running behind and something like that, you can cut through the line by paying those extra $20. Another thing that I've done is I just pack light. So usually I would pack one set of pants and then different shirts, and then I usually double underwear. So if I'm going for 3 days, it's 6 pairs of underwear. Pack double pairs of socks, things of that nature. I usually like to pack light, and I just love being in and out, 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 in and out.
So then you're not checking anything. Are you bringing like a tech
never
bag
check,
or...
never check. No, pack light. I usually just like to keep it to one suitcase, and sometimes it's hard if I'm like bringing all this camera gear, but like I said, one pair of pants usually does it. And then double underwear and then shirts. So if I'm going for 3 days, I bring 3 shirts. That's usually how I do it. And I bring something to sleep in. But
are you bringing it like any pillows, or you have any like special utensils or anything like that, or it's just get in, get out, get home?
I bring my Nintendo Switch. I bring a pillow, like one of those neck pillows to sleep on. I usually like taking red-eye flights just because I can sleep through the plane. And I usually I'll take some ZZ pills. Like if I know like, okay, I'm flying the day of a show, I need to sleep on the plane no matter what, so I'll take some ZZ pills. It's essentially NyQuil, but they just concentrated the sleeping part, so you get those ZZ pills. Those are great. You'll knock out on the plane. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Pack light, pack a battery pack. I usually pack like a big one of these. There's like a 20,000 milliamp one that's like really buff, like super duty. It'll last you like the entire trip. Usually pack one of those. I don't know. I can't. I usually just try to pack light. Try to pack super light. I hate carrying stuff around with me.
I'm the same. I do a backpack. I just do 2 backpacks. I have I started carrying a backpack for all my clothes,
Yeah.
like a big one that you can put under your seat, just
Yeah.
because when you do the hoppers, the overhead is so small, you have to leave your big bag at the
On the bridge.
yeah, and then I get pissed because I have to wait, so I switched it over to a backpack, which will always fit.
So I usually bring my carry-on and then I bring a backpack. So I usually have my jetpack and then I'll have my my suitcase. Another thing that I always do is I always usually opt for like extra leg room. So that way I can board the plane faster. Like if you pay for extra leg room, they'll usually let you board a group A or a group B. So the first 2 groups, and then you get access to those overhead bins early. So you also can put both of them up there. I know they usually say, "Hey, please only put one stuff on there," but I usually just put both up there because I'm in so early that everything's open. So one of the tricks that I do is I'm making my way down the plane. I'll take my backpack off, and usually in the front of the plane, I'll leave my backpack there. And then as I get to my seat, then I'll put my suitcase on top. So that's like a little trick of the trade so you don't have to put anything underneath you, especially if you're tight on space underneath if you need to stretch out or whatever. Because I don't like putting stuff underneath my seat.
What's your airline of choice?
United, and I think this should be different for everybody just based on where the hubs are. Like for me, United is my preferred just because they have the best hub in New York and they also have the most flights out of New York just because they pretty much run New York Airport. But depending on where you are, whatever airline is the hub where you are, that's probably your best bet for airline.
Totally agree. We preach that all the time too. Is you just got to use what's best for you and most convenient, but stick with one if you can.
I usually try to do United if I don't have to fly United, and I usually prefer JetBlue. My least favorite one is Spirit. I hate when people put me on Spirit. And another another pro tip is like when you get flown out to places, you'll usually get asked the questions, do you want me to book your ticket for you?
Never.
Or do you want, don't let them book the ticket for you because they're going to pick the cheapest, most bullshit flight that doesn't make any sense. So just say, I'll pick the tickets and I'll just bill you. If they're insistent on booking the flights, then, you say, okay, I want these flights. You send them the flights that you want. I've been put in some really shitty flights. So I learned my lesson that way. Never let them pick your flights for you.
Totally agree. We have one last segment, but we don't have the video for it. Drew will cut it in. It's a new segment.
Oh no!
I know.
That's my favorite part.
I'm sorry. It's a good one too. It's a good one. But we're calling it the sauce, and it's what we want to leave the listeners with from this episode. If you had any advice, or if you have a takeaway from this episode, what would you want the listeners to take away, or any advice you might want to give them?
Great one. So I always give the same advice anytime somebody asks me, like, "Hey, what is some advice for me?" I would always say, just get content, film. I did a ton of cool stuff that I pretty much have no proof. Like, I've gotten to open up for Nicky Jam, for Ruko. And I have like pictures, but they just don't age as well as I feel like a video. Like when I was right next to them, like I wish I was vlogging. I wish I would have got because those guys are huge now. So I wish just film as much content, take as many pictures. Just capture content because essentially, once you put it out there on the internet, it'll live on forever. And looking back, I did all that stuff, but I don't have any I wish I had that stuff. I wish I had the videos. I wish I would have known how I was feeling. I wish I would. Just film, guys. Film and post. Don't worry about the numbers so much, but just put it out there. So many doors have been opened to me, not because I'm the world's greatest DJ, but because I just posted what I was doing and showing people how I do it. So if there's any advice you could take from me, is just get on social media and post and film as much as possible. Even if you got to archive it, I have tons and tons of weddings and videos that I've shot that never see the light of day, but they're there if I ever do want to call back to it.
Moving forward, are you going to focus, or what should people focus on, landscape or vertical?
This is for me speaking personally. I don't know how true this is, but I think eventually we're going to go back to landscape. I feel like vertical is the hot trendy thing right now, but if I were you, I would do what I said earlier, film in 4K and crop into vertical. That way you have the best of both worlds. So you can do either or. It's going to take a lot of space. You're going to be going through hard drives left and right, but To my opinion, it's the best. Just because, for example, let's say you become a legend and they want to film like a movie about you one day. They're gonna want the footage, and they're like, "Damn, all this stuff is vertical. What the hell?" You know. So yeah, I would say shoot horizontal with the mindset that you're gonna be posting it vertically. So what I mean by that is, film super wide, and 4K, so you can chop in, so that way you don't lose quality.
Yeah, it's a great tip.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, before we wrap up today, I just want to say thanks again for taking the time to be on here with us. We really, really appreciate it. And if you could just let all the listeners know where they can find all your stuff, or if you have anything you want to plug away.
I would just thank you guys for having me on. It was awesome. Everything on social media is DJ Barr NJ. That's TikTok, Instagram, even Facebook. And then on YouTube, it's just DJ Barr. If you look it up, I should be the first one that pops up.
Awesome. Well, once again, we just want to say thank you to everybody that's been listening, and make sure you hit that YOLO line 562-246-YOLO. Make sure you use the promo code Drew and Fuse Show to get you 30% off your first month at directmusicservice.com. Make sure you use the promo code DAFS at Briggs Beard Company. It'll save you 20% on your order over there. Make sure you check out Club Cannon. Make sure you go to YouTube and follow our guest, DJ Barr. He's got some great videos on there. Make sure you're subscribing and liking and sharing all the videos. We appreciate you guys so much. And that's going to wrap up until next time. See you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.